Okay, so we're going to start today with drawing class number 7. It's going to be different because I am setting it up in a slightly different way because I'm wanting it to be a different kind of drawing. You will notice straight away that I have got my vanishing points up high. VP1 and VP2 are higher than my piece of paper. This is a good thing for the future, just to understand and be able to, and after a while you won't even need these here because you'll just kind of imagine that point out there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off because we're looking at shading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box, and in the same way that I've drawn boxes in the past, I'm just taking that to my vanishing point. And this one, and here, so there's just a perspective box with the vanishing points being far away and up high. All right, I didn't use a ruler, I just sort of guessed that direction. Now, when we are shading a box, we need to have a light source. So I've got this on a post-it because really what we're looking at is the light is coming in from here and it's hitting the top. This will be my light tone, this will be my mid-tone, and this will be my dark tone. But if we have a really close light source when we're doing these boxes and we're trying to put shadows on them, it's really hard. So if I zoom out right now, I actually want my light source to be like out here somewhere. Do you see? Like a long way away. And so if I zoom back in and come down, here we go, and up a bit. There is I've got my two vanishing points, but you imagine that my light source is off in that direction, but quite a long way away. Now, what I've got here is a rectangle or a square, depending on what your object is. And I'm actually going to draw this one just so that you can kind of understand that it looks like a block of glass, so we can see through it. Now, just remembering this box here, the sun is over in this direction, if I put my marker, but a long way away in that direction. I can then draw this box up here, but kind of down here somewhere. Do you see? Like there. Does that make sense to you? Can you see that? There is that top box, or even that bottom box, but I've just shifted it over. Right? Now, if I connect this point here and this point here, I now actually have the shadow box for it. So if I was to shade in the shadow, if this was a box, the shadow is going to go here. And I want to do it fairly smooth. So I'm going to work over it a little bit. And then, like I've shown you before, you can then take an eraser and you can sharpen your edges up. Now if I was shading but do you see there, that box there is the same as this box here, but it's just now underneath it. Do you see? So now if I put in my dark tone, and shadows are not going to be quite as dark as a dark tone. There is my dark tone. Obviously a shadow is going to change depending on what surface color the shadow is. like for example, a shadow on a white surface is going to be different than a shadow on a dark surface. There. And then now I can put in my mid-tone. She'll go in there. And I'm going to erase off those lines and that line. Right? Looks like a much better kind of box now. And sharpening it up with a nice clean line for a sketch really helps the object out. But you can now see it looks like a really three-dimensional object sitting on a tabletop. All right, next object we're going to do is similar, but we're going to go back to that pyramid that we did last week. So there's my point there, and there's the point. Remember, to get a pyramid, or four-pointed pyramid, you make a cross, and then you go vertical. There's the top. And then I put in my lines for the object. Now, if we had the light source for this object really close to this one, so it could be correct if it was here, but if it was still the same light source, are you all watching this? The same light source, but for this object, the shadow for it would be right off the page, right? That's why I moved my light source so far away up here that the line coming down from it is not very far. So with this one, because it goes to a point, it's not so much of a rectangle top, it's more of a point. And I kind of think, okay, well, here is my light source. It's coming down from this kind of direction. It's not going to go very far. It's a little bit behind, so it's going to be somewhere around here. And for this one, or maybe it could go here. This one here, I'm going to put it from there, and then from that back line over there. Do you see? So that would be my shadow line from there. So it's almost sort of straight out, but not quite. So again, here is my shadow on here. And I can then put in my dark tone, another dark tone. Okay, and then tidy up the edge, tidy up the edge. All right, and then this is my mid-tone. Okay, they both look like they're actually sitting on a surface there. Okay, next and final object. I always do 3 objects. The final one is my challenge object. Here we go. You ready for it? Okay, we're going to start with quite a larger box. And in fact, this box is going to be a table. All right, so there is the box top. Here is the legs for it. Doesn't need to be terribly tall. Okay, and there. The table is going to need to have, switch to this one. Table needs to have a thickness. And a thickness here. And because I've drawn the whole box, you'll see that it's actually a lot easier for me to draw a leg on it. So I've got a leg here, and a leg is essentially 3 lines, and they can be identically equal, and then I just put in that little line there. This one follows the bottom of the box here, and this one is 3 lines, 1, 2, that one goes off to the vanishing point for a little bit, and then there. So now I have a table. Now I'm going to move this because this is kind of out the way now. Now when I'm now going to start thinking about the light source for it, remember how I did it with this one? I have a rectangle here, or a square here. Well, this one I've got another rectangle, and if I was to draw this as though it was clear, do you see I've got that rectangle there? So what I'm going to do is offset it, and I'm now going to go, let's say here. How far away shall I do it? See, it's all about a guess as to where you want to go. Let's say I go all the way out to here, and it's going to come down here and out here. Do you see how I've got this rectangle, and then I'm drawing another rectangle below it on the floor? Do you see? So there is the shadow from the top, and then I connect the legs, and that will look like shadow. So let's just shade it in so it kind of makes sense. Here is my dark tone down here, here. All right, I can clean up my edges. Okay, and now I'm going to put in the shadow. As you see, I'm not really worrying about the edge. I'm just trying to get it a nice, consistently flat shading surface. So then I can shade this off. I can take the shadow, tidy that up, and tidy this up. And then I'm going to put in the legs. There, and the leg there. Shadow here. And then this is my mid-tone. Down there. And that line there, that's lighter, but that will be there. And because this is underneath, you're also going to darken just under here and let it fade out. Just there and there. And it starts looking really real. You can then go along and sharpen up your shading lines. And there it is. There is a table with shadow. Okay.
Just impressive. I'm mesmerized by it. You're sitting there. Look at that.